Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Some people are just so rude, I never understood why. Is it so hard to be a decent human being? But what am I talking about? Karens will always be Karens. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. No, I won't show you my ID, even though it'll take 2 seconds. I used to work for a big UK fashion retail brand, and policy at the time was to ask the customer for a form of ID to confirm that the name on the online order was the same on the ID. The reason for this was to ensure that the person collecting the parcel was the right person, and also for security reasons due to certain customers having a credit account with the store. Anyway, it begins. MC, male customer. Karen, female customer. MC, hey there, I'm here to pick up an order. Me, yeah, that's no problem. Can I take your reference number, please? MC, sure, no problem. It's 123456. Me, that's great. While that's searching the system, do you have a form of ID on you? MC, I do. Is a driver's license okay? Me, yeah, that's perfect. I look at his license and confirm his name to the name on the order. I've confirmed the MC's order, and as I go to get it, I notice Karen waiting at the end of the till. I see she has no clothing items in her hand, so I assume she's also collecting a parcel. We use a zebra device, so I'm able to collect more than one customer's order at a time, and so begins my endeavor with Karen. Me, hello, are you also collecting a parcel? Karen, I am, yeah. Me, that's perfect. Do you have your reference number with you? Karen, nope. I use my credit account with the store. She gets out her purse and takes out her store card and shows it to me. I scan it and her order comes up. Now, when someone comes in and collects an order with their credit account, we're told to always ask for ID as fraud could be taking place, and this could ruin the customer's credit rating amongst other things. I read her name off the device I have. Me, Mrs. Karen? Karen, oh yes, that's me. Me, okay, do you have a form of ID to confirm your identity? Karen, no. I was confused here because whenever someone picks up an order, they always get a text or email to confirm it's in store and ready for pickup, and in this text or email it always says, bring form of ID. I say to her, me, sorry? Karen, no, I don't want to. Me, it's just to confirm that you were the right and correct person to pick up the parcel. Karen, I don't care. I don't want to show you my ID. I've shopped with company name for 30 years and not once ever have been asked for ID. I've been a customer here when this store was still at its old location and they didn't ask me for ID then. Me, it can be anything, even a bank card, as long as it's got your name on it. Karen, no, I don't want to. Do I have to tell you again? Me, okay, sorry. Now, I was fairly new at the time, so was super confused and somewhat anxious as I wasn't sure what to do. Another member of staff comes over and asks if I'm okay, and I just tell her, yeah, that I can sort it out. I go to get the 2 customers' parcels, and one thing we can do is ask the customer to confirm their postcode for us as it's printed on the parcel, although this should be the last method of customer confirmation, as getting a postcode for someone and their name is easy. So I go back out to the shop floor and back to the till point. Me, can I confirm your postcode for me? Karen scoffs. Who, him or me? Me, standing right in front of her, clearly speaking to her, his. Did that to make her wait longer. So I hand the parcel over to the guy and he leaves. Me, now can I have your postcode, please? Karen, AB1234C. Me. There you go, bye. So yeah, that's it. She was extremely rude, and I honestly couldn't care if she hadn't been asked before. I told her that it was policy and that she should have been asked for ID. Plus, it would have been so easy to take out her ID. It was in her open purse, in her hand. I found out after from my colleague that she called me pathetic and stupid whilst I was getting her parcel, and that she was complaining about being asked for ID. And our second story. Want to be an arrogant witch? Forget being comfortable then. Airports are crazy this time of year, and I understand the frustration many people have when flying. Hubby and I are flying home from seeing family, and our flight has been delayed for hours now. Pissed off from family time and waiting in a crowded airport, I wasn't exactly in the mood to be effed with. We were flying with an airline that all called Northeast, and for those that don't know, they don't have assigned seats. Basically, you get a zone and then a number to decide when you board, and seats are first come, first serve. Kind of like pulling numbers at the deli. After hours of waiting, we finally were called to get in line. Now, we were 54, and this woman was 59. I heard her speaking to her partner and child, complaining about being so far back in line. We were there for a few minutes, so naturally hubby and I are having our own conversation. She stands to move in front of, hoping we won't notice. I pull hubby back into our place in line and continue our conversation, disregarding her. I hear her huff and mumble to her husband. As I'm continuing to ignore her, she tries multiple times to innocently pass us, even shooting her son into the space between the wall and us. Every time I just maneuver to block her, like, lady, we aren't even moving, and we have numbers. How are you going to try and cut me? I subtly try to point out that we're ahead of her. Hey babe, we are 54, right? I loudly ask my husband. We sure are. He can see I'm getting annoyed at this woman, already annoyed at being here for hours, and I just want to get on the GD plane. And now someone's cutting us off over and over. I'm getting more and more agitated as she's attempting to slip by and loudly sighing at me for not just moving aside for her. If this were an innocent, unknowing mistake, I wouldn't have cared. But this woman decided she's more important than everyone else, and there's nothing that pisses me off more than entitled people. We start moving forward, and I aggressively play chicken with this woman as she keeps trying to slip by. Alas, I was too passive, and she uses her son to just physically push me out of the way as we get to the counter. She gets her way, and her and her family end up ahead of us in the tunnel thing. I'm fuming at this point. As her arrogance grows, so does my anger. Hubby's trying to chill me out, but after hours of bullcrap, this woman really got to me. I mean, who does that? Entitled a-holes, that's who. Not only being willfully malicious, but using your child to break social rules, teaching him that it's okay to just forget rules and push past people. I was literally furious. Her small indiscretion had me so close to snapping, I decided to remain calm and be the bigger person. Until she turns and smirks at me. It's on, witch. It seems that the revenge gods were smiling on me that day and urging me to act out some very, very petty revenge. Her family picks the last empty row, an emergency exit row with extra footroom, and the cow happily settles herself into the corner and starts making preparations for a nice sleep. I, never being one to turn down an opportunity, took the only other two seats together for hubby and myself. How fortunate that my seat should be located directly behind her, and thus began my petty revenge. I stowed my bag and jacket under my seat, but made sure to angle my belongings to a space where, if I put enough pressure with my foot, I could manipulate her seat. I spent the entirety of the flight slamming my foot down on my jacket, preventing her from moving her seat back into a comfortable position. Assuming this seat was defective, she complained, but as the flight attendant politely informed her, the flight was full and there were no open seats. She huffed and agreed to spend the flight in her defective seat and started attempting to get situated to sleep. I could see her face as she angled her pillow against the window, and so knew every time she started falling asleep. Poor woman, every time she drifted off, there must have been terrible turbulence, given how her seat would suddenly jolt forward and shake her awake. Halfway through, after some berating, she convinced her husband to switch with her. Maybe she'd be more comfortable in another seat. Hopefully she could actually get some sleep. Wouldn't you know, I was feeling a bit cramped and asked hubby to politely switch with me. He smirked and allowed me to sit behind her. I guess this seat must have been defective too. She couldn't lean her seat back on this seat either. Maybe the whole row was just weird. She did opt for the exit row with extra room. Maybe these seats just work differently. The witch didn't get more than 2 minutes of sleep that whole 5-hour flight. I made sure of that. That might seem extreme or super petty, but this is a petty revenge sub, so there you have it. Play a-hole games, win a-hole prizes. And our last story. Stolen lake house. So my mother has a house, been in our family for almost 100 years now, never had a mortgage, never had home equity, anything, ever. Mom up to date on property taxes, no tax sale, nothing. I went out to the lake house to get some of my stuff while maintaining it year-round, grass, weeds, etc. It's a summer lake house, and we use it for storage. When I entered the house, it looked like someone had broke in, so I asked a neighbor. She said the bank took it. And so here we are. I called and filed a police report of all stolen items that I'm assuming the people the bank hired took, and the police officer is to call my mom tomorrow after he figures out what he can. He informed my mom that there's a law where if you care for a property for more than 30 days, you can lay claim to the property. However, my mom had hired a guy to take care of the property, and the bank's vendors turned him away. My neighbor says they entered with a key, and I can still get in with mine. I'm the sole person with the key. My mom doesn't even have one. How's this all possible? The officer told us to be sure we aren't charged with trespassing to not come back. However, he let me get all my stuff. My mom got no notice, no legal transfer, no nothing. My mom got a hold of the bank today, and they said they had no record of the address in their system. However, they did have a completely different lake house in their system. They said they had no financial interest in the house at all. They directed her to their real estate company in our county. He said he hasn't had a house at the lake in many years. She then contacted the property preservation company that secured the house. The CSR got very frantic, asking for the burglary report case number, and again told her someone would call her. She also stated our address was not in their system. She hired a locksmith at the direction of her attorney, and we went out there and placed warnings and changed locks. The locksmith informed us they actually didn't have a key, as previously stated. I was the only one with a key, and they credit carded the door and replaced the lock in the back and just said F it when it came to the front door. Neighbors took pictures of our license plates but didn't call the police, so I'm in fear something bigger's going on. But now it's just up to the DA to find someone to press charges against and civil court for emotional damage and loss of truly invaluable things that they stole while renovating. Update. Detective solved the case. Property Preservation Company is claiming full responsibility. They had the wrong house. None of the houses they owned out there had lot numbers on them in their system, so they just assumed and went with it. Yes, my mom's in contact with her attorney before she settles. There's so much more that goes into this than just the $30K worth of missing things. She asked if the DA is going to take the case. He said they could, but he advised her to contact her attorney Monday before making any decision. The Lake Association had their monthly meeting, at which time the president informed everyone that the no trespassing signs weren't real, so my take on the neighbors is they're just a-holes. But the detective called and talked to her, so I'm sure they're aware now. I'm just ready for it to be all over. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.